Hello, I'm Olivia Smith, the Career Advisor for Online Programs. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this webinar, LinkedIn, a discussion about networking virtually. While each of these aspects that we'll be discussing for your LinkedIn profile all sound simple enough, there is much more involved with each one. So before we start discussing the different aspects outlined on the previous slide, I want to take a moment for you to consider the questions on this slide. Think of your LinkedIn profile like a book. The cover is like your photo and headline, and the first chapter is like your profile section. Recruiters are not going to read the entire book. They will typically only be looking at the cover and the first chapter. So therefore, you do want to make sure your first impression is a good one for an employer. If you want to be marketable and stand out, you'll need to make sure that all of your profile sections are complete and tell your professional story. So the first section we'll talk about is your heading. The heading of your LinkedIn profile is the first thing that an employer will see. So be sure that the following are included: your name, a professional looking headshot, your position title, and/or an explanation of what you do. The About section of your profile should make note of your career aspirations. This is where you can begin to tell your story about who you are. The following can be mentioned: your current role that you hold or general field you're interested in. It can also include soft skills that you have that will benefit you in the future. Keep in mind that your summary does not always have to be anywhere near this length. It can be as short as what's above this line. It's really up to you how you want to tell your professional story. Your experience section is where you can emphasize your current and past roles. You can also include bullet points for the duties that you've held in specific positions. This is going to be similar to your resume, but it will be formatted much differently. With your education section, be sure that you include all education. LinkedIn will generate a format based on the data that's included. This example here also shows relevant coursework, but that's not necessarily something that you have to include. But feel free to include that if you think that's going to be something that's relevant to you and a current role that you're looking for. Your skills and endorsement section is an opportunity for you to highlight specific skills. So current and past employers can also endorse you for these specific skills. The recommendation section is a really great opportunity for an employer or client to write a note about you or the work that you've done. This can give future employers an opportunity to see your value as a candidate. So this is a really great way for them to just understand how you are as an employee and what you can bring to the future company that you would work for. So each of the parts of your profile that are highlighted are all important factors to consider in the professional story that you're telling with your LinkedIn profile. So now that we've covered the basics of what to include in your LinkedIn profile, what does it look like to make connections virtually? And what kind of connections can you make? There are a number of ways that this can be done. You can connect with current and past employers. You can connect with organizations. You can connect with alumni. First and second degree connections will be discussed on the next slide. Each of these different connections can give you a variety of ways to build your network. Connecting with employers can help you lead to different types of job opportunities. Connecting with specific organizations, such as human resources organizations, or more specific companies like Google, can help you with the idea of what the company culture is like. It's also a great way for you to connect with professionals in the field and learn more about it. Connecting with alumni gives you the opportunity to talk with alumni that work in a field you're interested in to get an understanding of what their career path was like from education to career. So how exactly do you find and make these connections? There are a number of ways that you can do this. The first place is to start finding people you know personally and connecting with them. This is what a first degree connection is. Once you're connected with those individuals, you will be able to see others that they are connected with. So any connections that come from that are second degree connections. Another way to find these connections is by simply searching for other individuals that attend your school. So this is a really great way to find alumni to connect with. You can also apply for jobs through LinkedIn. If there's a specific position that you applied for that you're very interested in, you can send a private message to the recruiter through LinkedIn, reiterating your interest in the position. So making connections through informational interviewing. While the idea of informational interviewing does sound very intimidating, it's a great way to build your network, and people really enjoy talking about their career paths. So when you're doing initial outreach to connect with people, I highly recommend including a personal message such as this one. So hello, my name is, I am a current student at National Louis University studying business administration and eventually want to get into the management field. I understand that this may be a busy time for you, but I was wondering if you would have 20 minutes to talk with me about your current role as, and what your day-to-day work looks like. I look forward to this conversation. Sincerely, and then include your name and phone number. So this type of outreach is a way for you to connect with employers to learn more about a specific field for an informational interview. And you can also send a more general message asking for someone that you're already connected with if they'd be willing to write a recommendation for you on LinkedIn. You can also connect with employers who might be members of the same organization as you. So this is an example of what a personalized message could look like for you to connect with someone who is a member of the same organization as you. Alumni are a great resource to connect with as well. They can talk about their time at National Louis University and help you understand their path from education to career. To find this page, search National Louis University on LinkedIn and then select alumni, which is highlighted on this slide. Once you've found the alumni page, you can narrow down your search to a general geographic area where they're and also where they work. Once you've made those connections, you'll be able to see a list of connections based on the filters that you've selected. So what does this all have to do with storytelling, as we talked about at the beginning? Consider these questions again. Each of the different aspects of your LinkedIn profile that were discussed gives employers a snapshot of your professional self and your professional story. They can see organizations that you're interested in, the types of skills you have, what current and past employers have said about you through recommendations, along with various connections that you have. So connecting with individuals professionally in a virtual environment can be really intimidating, but at the same time, you're building your network for employers to see and telling your professional story in a unique way. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this webinar. Please take a moment to review the contact information and feel free to reach out to the Career Bridge at any time.